Shalom. I want to begin first and foremost giving all praises to the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jehovah and Jesus. The name of the Father being Yahweh, meaning He exists. The name of the Son being Yahweh Shai, meaning He delivers. I want to give all praises in the ancient Hebrew tongue while facing the east towards Jerusalem. Call halal la Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakakwadash Barakatha Yahweh Barakatha Yahweh Shai, the water. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, to the elders of Yasharala, Greatmillstone. Shalom to the 144,000. Shalom to the elect, the nation of Israel, who are the descendants of the slaves identified as the so-called African Americans, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans. My name is Micah Allah, and today I just want to talk about war. Isaiah 3 verse 8. Therefore be patient, says Yahweh. That's when I will stand and accuse these evil nations. For I have decided to gather the nations of the earth and pour out my fiercest anger and fury on them. All the earth will be devoured by the fire. All the earth will be devoured by the fire of my jealousy. Yahweh Shai is getting these countries ready for their destruction. He's gathering these countries for war, ultimately for their destruction. A military exercise drawing together 19 nations and 35,000 forces begins in Australia. The largest ever war-fighting drills in Australia, exercise Talisman Sabre, are underway and expected to attract the attention of Chinese spy ships. It says this year more than 35,000 military personnel from 19 nations, including Canada, Fiji, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Japan, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Papua New Guinea, the Philippines, South Korea, Singapore, Thailand, Tonga, and the United Kingdom will take part over 3 weeks, Australia's Defence Department said. Malaysia and Vietnam are also attending as observers. So the Lord is having these countries get together to perform military drills, man. And sometimes these military drills are a disguise for the beginning of real military operations, because they want to catch their enemies off guard. So of course they'll have to say, oh, this is going to be a drill. That's how Russia invaded Ukraine, man. I said, oh no, we're just running drills along the border, gathering all those troops, and then one day they just invaded. Macron says Europe's freedom faces greatest threat since WW2. French President Emmanuel Macron has outlined plans for a big increase in defense spending, warning Europe's liberty is facing a greater threat than at any time since the end of World War II. It says, referencing the threat from Russia, he denounced imperialist policies and annexing powers. So, the Lord is getting France. He's stirring up France for war. All right, they're increasing their military spending as well. Okay, it doesn't say there. There's another article recently. It says that they've been raising no, they're planning on raising their military spending. Right, China and Serbia gear up for first joint military training exercise. China will hold its first joint military training exercise with the Serbian military this month as defense ties deepen between Beijing and a Balkan country. It says they're going to hold the joint training exercise Peace Defenders 2025 in Hebei in late July. So, Serbia has conflicts with Kosovo. So you can assume that if something pops off, Kosovo is going to be on America's side. So you can see all the lines being drawn. Revelation 16, verse 16, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. That's when the Lord gathers all these countries, their militaries for destruction. Right, goes into greater detail here. 2nd Ezra 13, verse 29. And behold, and you could tell that this is, you know, one of the reasons 2nd Ezra is taken out of so many Bibles, because it just goes into much deeper detail of some of the events in Revelation and all the books of Revelation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. All right, the Lord's going to be bringing spiritual power by sending angels, by making miracles for His elect, and He shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. All right, everybody's going to be shook when they see the Lord. They're going to know. They're going to know it's Him. They're going to sigh. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I shew thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. All right, let's talk about Yahweh Shai. All right, it's Yahweh Shai, man. All right, verse 33. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in his own land lead the battle they have one against another. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. All right, and that's connected to this verse right here, Revelation 16 and 16. All right, Armageddon. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Sion, and Sion shall come and shall be shewed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. All right, and that's talking about Yahweh Shai coming on a chariot. All right, a so-called UFO flying saucer, a huge one. All right, that people will be able to see from everywhere. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. And he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto me. So the Lord is going to gather all these countries. You could see the beginning stages of that, of all these countries joining for military drills. The Lord is purposing for them to gather together so he can destroy them with fire, all right, coming out of his chariot. You know, when you remember that scene in Independence Day where all those people were on the roof of a skyscraper trying to welcome one of one of the spaceships, and then that spaceship opened up the bottom part of that spaceship opened up, and then it just completely destroyed that building with fire, with a laser beam of fire. That's how the Lord is going to be destroying these people, man. All right, that's how the Lord is going to be destroying all of these militaries that are going to gather together. Right? They're going to stop fighting each other, and they're going to go, hey man, let's join up and fight against him. And then they're going to be completely destroyed because they cannot stand. They cannot stand up to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope the video was edifying. Shalom.